Hello everybody and welcome back to the JakesRCChitChat stuff channel, and today we are doing similar to what we did last week on Monday, where we went through all the Banggood planes and basically said yay or nay to them. I'm going to be doing the same but with HobbyKing planes this week. Apparently there's 102. So we'll go through them, and say whether I'd buy them, whether I wouldn't buy them, whether you should buy them, things like that. Again, if you want to see the incredibly long Banggood one, you can see that from last week. This one I think will be slightly shorter. But we'll start off. So we have a HobbyKing HKing P51 Moonbeam. So these are their little sort of smaller 3-cell, I think, fighters. They come with a 6S stabilizer. The original ones had issues with the stabilizers, so what they've basically done is chucked another stabilizer on top, like in the box, so that you can swap that out. I've considered something like this for a FPV project, because I think you could fit something like a co-pilot in there and just have it as like a fun scale FPV thing. So I will add that as something that I would probably get. So this size of stuff, it'd probably be the Mustang that I get. Tundra, they're just not for me. I understand why some people like them, but for me, just no thank you. Berlin Express, kind of big-ish ply Mustang. Again, not really for me. Grand Tundra is just a big version of the small Tundra, so again, not for me. I really want one of these. They're just kind of expensive what I want them for. Because what I would want them for is FPV. There's a lot of room inside them. Super cool to have a quad engined FPV plane. Obviously there are quads. But yeah, that is one that I would have. Ugly Steak, again, not for me. These Volantex things are kind of the same as the Eachine ones on Banggood, but more expensive, so I'd rather buy them on Banggood. The recently released 330LX V2, I have the V1, and it's very good, especially considering that it flies about 85%, 80-85% as good as the Extreme Flight 60-inch plane of mine, and this is about 58-inch, 56-inch maybe. But it's 4-cell. It struggles with my batteries slightly, or at least it's knackering up my batteries flying it. Although at the minute it's currently broken because there's something wrong with the motor. I'm not sure if it's loose. I've tried tightening up the screws I can get to. So it's either the motor's knackered. I've checked, I can't get spares because I thought, oh, if they re-released it, they might have loads of spares. Not of the motor, they don't, and they don't even sell one on HobbyKing that's the same spec. That's nice of them. So I need to see what's wrong with that. It may be a case of it's loose on the cross mount. That's what I'm hoping it is. But if the motor's knackered because the bearing is gone, it hasn't flown that much, and it's just a bit. J3 Cub kit, not for me. This, to be fair, 315 quid for I think it's like a 78-inch. I think. $75-inch. Yeah, it's not bad for a wooden plane that big. If you're into that kind of stuff, it does look quite nice. We've got the Phoenix V2 2 meters. I think that's about the same price as Banggood, so that's not too bad. Bix 3 kit. That's a bit expensive for the kit version. I have one on a shelf that hasn't flown yet. Whoops. Excuse me. Personally, it's annoying that the servo's near the front. I wish they'd have moved it to the back. The fact that the canopy is much bigger for the cowl for FPV stuff is quite nice. Again, the stuff I'm adding up here is stuff that I would actually buy. So I would, as in, I haven't got one yet, which is why I'm buying it. But yeah, I do quite like the Bix 3. The connectors there worry me for the weighing. But other than that, 85 quid is a lot for just the kit. Is it literally just the kit? I think I paid like 50 for mine. Yeah, that's just for the kit. That's a bit steep. Ranger, I already said that I'd be interested in one of these from Banggood, so I'd get one from here if it was in the UK. Same for the ASW28 as like a scale glider type of thing. Again, already said that I would do that in the Banggood video. The walrus, I'd probably get a walrus more than a Raiden, because I've had a Raiden and it smashed into the ground when the tailplane split in half in midair, or the elevator where the control rod came through on the elevator, it just kind of snapped in half and just couldn't bring it back. It was in a dive, it just wouldn't come back. Grand Tundra Plus, again, not interested. Avios Spitfire, that does look quite nice. Again, not for me. I wouldn't spend that much on a scale unless it's really, really different, like the whatever it is up there. Palmetto, again, not for me. The Trojan, I really like that colour scheme. I'm a big fan of blue. Again, it can be FPV. Charlie, obviously, from Spectra 50, proved that it can be. Again, I don't know if it's quite like scale enough. Like if I was going to buy a scale plane to do FPV, it'd be a Spitfire or a Mustang or whatever. Tiger Moth, not too bothered about. This is Plug and Fly for 119 when that's 85. Buy this. I bought mine as a kit and put own servos, my own motor, which is about the same as that. It's actually slightly less kV, but it's gonna be running 4S, so that makes sense. The Vampire, I keep looking at this, not that specifically, but October, and that slipped from September, I think. And the reason why is I want to buy a kit one and put a ridiculous fan in it, because again, from Spectra 50, I think it's You Can't Win Friends with Salad is the video. That with a ridiculous 6S fan in it is brilliant. And I don't particularly want to spend. I worked out that for all the parts that I'd need to build the plane without like any electronics, it was like 80 quid. So I don't want to spend 143 for speed controller and fan. I'm going to throw away, and servos are probably not going to be up to the task of my ridiculous speed. Messerschmitt, again, not for me. Oh, Plug and Fly for 78 quid. That's really not bad. 113 or 78. I don't know why. Personally, for me, flying a glider at night, it depends where you live, of course. But you know, in the UK, when it's night, the time that I want to do night flying is normally in the winter, when you know, you don't have much time in the day to fly. I have the night vision air, of course. I flew that in January or February-ish time, in lockdown, which like next to my house, just because I wanted something to do, and that was great. Again, don't know why you want to glide, because you know, aren't they meant to be up for like 20-30 minutes, or you know, like they're meant to fly for a long time? And my question is, like when it's cold, like obviously it depends. If you're in America somewhere where it could be black dark outside, but still like 20 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, then why not? I understand that. Or at a show where maybe being with people, but most of the time when I fly at night, I'm on my own or with one other person. You know, if you're at like one of the night flying things they do at shows in the UK, or if you're in a place where it's hot at night, I could see why you'd want the colour version of that. We then have their MX2. I've considered buying this a lot. I've suddenly realised I've not done some of this. So there is another version of this with a different colour scheme. I think they're more or less the same, just one's a different colour scheme. HobbyKing do that a lot, as I'm sure you know. But yeah. I'd buy one if I wanted just a small 3D plane to hover around and chuck away. You know, or you know, just chuck off and fly. The next time I don't want one right at the minute, but I think the next time I want one of them, that'll be what I get. Dory, Nemo, yeah, again, not for me, not even for kids, like, no thank you. This, I've seen the way that this flies on the HobbyKing, however you pronounce it, HobbyKing brothers. That, I think more than the C130 or whatever it is, would be brilliant for FPV. 4 motors, you've got this big sort of nose section you could put cameras in, you could put cameras in a few different places. It's big, you know, it's nearly 2 meter wingspan, so it really just floats about in the sky. So I think that you'd get away with adding a few cameras, a lightish flight controller, light video transmitter, and going from there. It was on sale a while ago at like £300, but I didn't really have the money or the space. It is back in stock. That, out of all of these so far, is the one that I want next. The old EFX Racer, I don't know why you'd get this when you just get an EF Extra. EF Extra I like. I have one that's in pieces that I'm going to put back together and use for FPV at some point. Here we have Phantom. That's the bigger version of the Z84. Okay. 78 quid, that's not bad. Have your Spitfire again. That's the colour scheme I'd want it in. The sort of classic scheme. But again, it's a bit expensive for FPV. I know I've said that I want this, but like this I can do stuff with. This one is basically going to do low passes with. So I'd rather have the 30-inch small one for 88 quid or whatever it was. Again, not for me really. Again, it's something that you could FPV if you wanted something more scale. But when I say scale, I want something sort of more old school. Again, not for me. Again, get the F Extra instead. Again, not really for me. Any F Extra, as I've said, very good. The Radjet at this price point, I think is brilliant. If you want to, you can take all the stuff out of it and make it stupidly fast with a lot of carbon in it. Or if you want something to poodle about with, a little 3S, they will just sort of poodle about at no speed. I keep considering one just to put some like super light FPV gear in. I technically have one. I have the old one, but I put it at a swap meet for far too much money. And whoever put it together with epoxy, which is not good for foam models. I'll be honest with you, I think I need to throw that away and just have it as a bad job. Because I think they were trying to sell it as a plug and play. You know, they said, oh, it's got all this stuff in it, when I was looking at it as a kit. So I was trying to offer them less than the 40 quid that it was there for. Like, oh no, can't go less than 40. I was like, shouldn't have bought it. It was a mistake. But I would have one at that price. And it is something that, while not meant for FPV, you could FPV. Crusader is basically an ugly stick. Not interested. Not interested. They, by all accounts, are crap. Skipper, I've considered one of this. Our friends have like a large pond next door, and I've considered something like this to use there. It's basically a flying boat wing. But the thing is when I'm not on the water, which will be the vast majority of the time, not really suitable. Again, not for me. Does look quite nice, to be fair. Sky Soars I've considered in the past, but just kind of, there's other stuff I'd have instead. That is a C130 in a more scale scheme, but the blue and yellow is just too good. The smaller, I am right, aren't I? Yes, the smaller. Honestly, I can't consider that these are both 6S models, right? I know there's obviously a massive size difference. It's kind of annoying that like one's in inches, one's in millimeters. So that's 1200. Come on. This is 990. So it's 40 inch versus. Okay. But this is nearly 300 quid, where that's 135. That on a 6S, I think it'd go a bit like stink. I've not really seen videos of it. But to be honest with you, one this side is probably the one that I would get. Does this have retracts? Yep. This would be the one I'd get over the smaller one. Only available in the EU at the moment. I'll leave that on there. Not interested. Not interested. I had one of the Tomahawks. And other than trying to get a sensible COG being a bit of a nightmare, it was alright. It eventually crashed because I lost radio signal. What I would suggest though is that they keep going on sale for incredibly cheap. So I'd probably wait. I mean, some people might think, well, if that's 68 and that's 60 for FPV, which one's the best one? I don't really know. Because again, you have to have such a small battery, and they recommend a smaller battery for the Rad Jet. And also, that wasn't the quickest thing in the world. This. So I'll be honest with you, I'd go for the Rad Jet and modify the Rad Jet. Storch, not interested in. Not interested, not interested, not interested. The Lancaster, I nearly bought when it came out. It was literally in my basket. For the same idea as the C-130 and the B-17. Especially considering that this is vastly cheaper than the rest of them. It doesn't have retracts, but that's not really needed. Tail dragger as well. Be a bit interesting to fly it. Sometimes the only way that you can know that you've taken off is because you hear the sort of tune change as it takes off away from the ground. The thing is as well is that I live near where the practice dams were. So like if you ever close that road, I'm up there trying to do the same run. That'd be really interesting. Is it in stock? Only in global. That's a problem for me at the moment. Not interested in Tundras. Bixlers. Out of all the Bixlers, the one that I'd go for is this one. If you just want something that's fun, if you want a starter FPV model, a Bixler 1.1 is brilliant. One of the best things about the 1.1 is that the servos are kind of in line with the motor. So you have more room in the front, and also with the old one, when it would go in, you have a chance of gluing with controllers and necking up servos. When it's that far back, you've got a much harder chance to do it. I also like this scheme more compared to the old one. Volantex Ranger, the smaller one, it's not a bad price really, at $76.48. Is that for the plug and fly? Yeah, but it's global again, which is a pain in the arse. Another thing that's a pain in the arse is the fact that this doesn't remember what page you're on. Let me go back up a bit. I had one of these. This one got me a lot of views onto the channel. The Voltager Mark 1 is the one that I had. That was like melted and had snot all over it. I'm interested to go back to it, especially if they do a certain sale. It's like £100. I know someone at my flies actually has got one who isn't a 3D flyer. He is mode 2. Maybe I can have a go with it. But again, global at the moment again, which is a bit of a ball. Like, I'm going to add that. Yeah, that's one that I would have again. I'm also going to add that because I keep looking at them getting another one. I don't know why. Got something very similar to that on the shelf from Banggood at the moment in kit form. Again, not interested in that. We've had a look at that already. Why anybody would not? Unless you were going to put a ridiculous amount on the back of it. Don't get the kit one at that price. Again, all the prices change all the time. The Z84, I bought this when it was like £20. And I've seen the prices go up and down a lot. Although I may have been getting it confused with its bigger brother. I've got one of them right now. Kit's fairly easy to put together. Don't make a balls up of the stickers like I did. Decent amount of space in the front. A 3S2200 fits fine and balances about right. Like a 2206, 2200 kV motor. Fine. I recently built one of these on the channel. If you want to see me building one, go and have a look in videos. You don't have to scroll too far back. Bushmule. I would like to try one of these for FPV. It's one of these things where, for example, I think the tyres are a bit big and a bit draggy. I do have a twin star in the shed that needs fixing. But maybe if I decide not to fix the twin star or whatever, I'd get one of these. But again, the price is just a bit... but to be fair, it is... You know, like if you compare most like cheapy foam models are 130, 150. Considering that's got another motor speed controller, flap servos, a door flap, but also it's Aviar, so it is one of their premium models. I don't think 202 is too bad again. It'd be something that I'd wait for a sale or a 10% off voucher on. Not interested. Not interested. Not interested. Very interested. This is something that I saw a video of. Somebody using. I probably won't have the wheels on it, or if I did, I'd just swap it to smaller wheels. But this glides forever. This because it's 2.4 meters, the biggest one that they do. I mentioned this on the Banggood version because they had the smaller one. But you can have 4S batteries. Yeah. The thing is that I think the Landtreks do still make it, but if you buy it from like Emotion RC or whoever now sell them, stupidly expensive. I'm on to the last page. Let me go back. So this, that's not a bad price for the kit version. Tundra, I like that colour scheme, but again, not a model for me. Hawker Hurricane, possibly instead of that Mustang, to the point where I'm going to put it next to the Mustang if I can. I like Mustang the car, but I'm not bothered about the rest of it really. But about the same price. Corsair, the main thing that I look at with that is if I was FPVing it, I wanted to come into land it FPV. With the gull wings, it's a bit of a problem. Just a little bit harder to land FPV. Otherwise, yeah. Sky Raider, that's another one of them. That looks incredibly complicated for such a small model, that many bombs and things. Again, not for me. Big gliders like this. I have the BFG from HobbyKing, which is the same as the Diamond, and somebody else sold it as a big BFG. I presume means big fucking glider, or big friendly giant, but big fucking glider. Of course, it is there as well. I need to repair the flaps on it, but I do like it. Good old AXN. I've recently built the old style version, which is different motor, different colour scheme was basically the only changes, and I've still got a brand new one of those in kit form on the shelf, which I'm thinking may become an EDF racer thing just for the memes mostly. But very good model again. I'm not sure what this is like compared to the old one, but the older style ones, if they've not changed the foam isn't brilliant. If you're new to FPV, the Bixler's foam is a lot better to glue back together if you make a mistake. This, I crashed it once and it all just kind of went a bit sloppy at the front. Whereas the Bixler one, I crashed many times and always just nailed back together fine. Again, the servos being in the back help the Bixler. Not the same with the AXN, they're in the front. Also, because it's so much smaller, it's quite hard. But it's very light, and if you install a light FPV, so on mine I just have one of the 3-in-1 cameras, it just hovers around, it weighs more than 250 grams, but it's one of these things where I would say if you wrap this around a baby's head, it would hurt less than my Dart 250, which is meant to be 250 grams. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I think a Dart 250 at 250 grams will probably, because of the speed, would hurt more than this would, because it just floats around lovely. You can fly it like you stole it. I mean, XJet's the prime example of that. Well, yeah, I say if you were starting FPV, but choosing between this and the Radjet, I'll add that on, because I've noticed I'm getting a lot more here than I do with Banggood, but I barely buy anything from HobbyKing nowadays. The Micro Tundra is possibly the only one that I've considered, for the simple fact that it comes with floats, and you could do more with this than, say, the Skipper. That's pretty much the only reason why I've considered them. I think I have some kind of bigger that I can fly in a park. I do like the colour schemes. I don't know, if I was gonna have one of these, I'd have that one. So I'll add that to the list. Sky Sword, I got them already. Slowpoke, not for me. The Flycat is interesting. That is a lot of EDF for the money. And it's fairly, I know it's got some money off of the room, but it's a lot of fun for the money. If you consider that a similar spec regular jet would be like $250 for that. And the reason why is because I'm fairly sure. Let me fire this up. Yes, it has 3 servos. It doesn't have any rudder. It just has elevator and ailerons. So compared to like 8 servos, this has 3. No retract. It's a hand launch model. It's quite big for hand launch. But yeah, it's if you want to try an EDF jet, I don't think that'd be a bad one to try. Personally, not for me. I've had EDF jets. I know the ones that I want. Hummer Extreme. These have been reviewed very well. That looks like thinner foam. Or possibly not. They've been reviewed. Ooh, they've been reviewed quite well. But again, personally, not for me. That is basically the same as the other MX2 that I showed you. Basically, whichever one's in stock, go for, or whichever scheme you like. Super Kinetic is like a little glider thing. By all accounts, the front isn't very strong. Again, if you want a small glider, like if you're walking somewhere, fine. But again, not for me. These are apparently awful, and you kind of, by the proportions, you can tell it's probably not the best. Again, people don't really like that. Weird fish thing, not interested about. Glue and go, again, not very good. These have had their own issues. Considering it's a Durafly product, it's a weird miss for them. Again, not something that I would say to go for. Slowpoke, again, up to you. Bixler 2. The Bixler 2 is a bit weird. The Bixler 3 is a bit more efficient. Bixler 2, kind of cheap and has the servos in the right place. This was like a... Bloody hell. Sorry about that. So the Bixler 2 is kind of like a big floated Bixler 1. Again, people bought these thinking they were bigger, they can load more stuff up, but it's more of a case of it'll fly for a long time, it'll go about the same distance. The fact that the nose is much longer does mean you can fit bigger batteries in, and also means if you wanted to, you could put FPV stuff on the nose instead of on the canopy. But again, not. Personally, I'd always go for the Bixler 1 or the Bixler 3. Fuckadeer 1. Not interested. Foam board, Arctic Cat thing. Again, not really bothered. Not bothered. I feel like that's a bit expensive for a non-carbon DLG. Yeah, again, I'd buy a DLG, but kind of, I'd rather spend a little bit more and have something that's like mostly carbon than one that's made out of wood. Personally, the Excalibur, I've debated getting one of these on and off as like a hot liner, warm liner. Again, it's one of the ones that I will get if they're on sale. HobbyKing foam board, again, not for me. The Stinger, not for me, but there was a funny story of, glider pilots who do a lot of just gliding, RC glider pilots. So what they used to do is, you have a day gliding or whatever, and then in the evening, they'd all get these stingers, and it was fast and it was fun because they had loads of them going at once. I can see the loads going at once being a fun type of thing, but we saw this fly, and me and a few others who are used to, I've had a fun jet that nearly did 197 miles an hour. So when I say it nearly does 200 miles an hour, 197 is nearest makes the difference. That was the fastest GPS speed we ever got on it. This was hilarious. It was a really cheap, nasty fan as well, so it made a horrible noise while not going very fast. And just a bit of a joke to see to see that one still there. So compared to Banggood, there is a lot more stuff here. Again, to be brutally honest with you, I'd probably go for the Hawker, just because I'm British. That's pretty much the only reason. Do these come with retracts? Whole hang fire. Does it have retracts? Or is it just... Mm. Don't think it has retracts. I think you can just have them on or have them off. Oh! That's incredibly cute. I like that. Look at it. It's so cute. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'd probably have the Hawker over the Mustang just because I'm British. That's the only reason why with that. C130 again, beautiful plane, interesting to FPV. That's about it to be said. Volantex again, just because it's the same as what they've got on Banggood. Same as what they've got on Banggood. This is like a 3D plane to just chuck out your car and fly. Walrus, I don't think that's too bad for like a foam glider. Again, I'd probably have that over a Radian. Vampire, I want one of these in kit form so that I can put a stupidly massive fan on it and do bizarre things. B17 again, I really want one of these for FPV. This worries me. Does this mean it's gone forever or what? I don't know, but I kind of want one. I just don't have the space for the box at the moment. Actually, I'm just thinking, because I've been asked what do I want for my birthday, because my birthday is on June the 18th, so not long when you see this. This could be what I ask for my birthday. Maybe give them some money towards it, or the old parents. I need to actually write a post-it note for birthday list. Yes, this is me as a 23-year-old needing to remember to write a birthday list. Birthday list. Because obviously there's nothing that I really want, like, desperately. I was considering maybe an RV8. From Flex, but that's like 500 quid. I was going to probably ask that for like something from everybody. Good old Radjet. For if you want to, you can modify it to be fast, but again, you're probably better with Funjet. Or if you just want something light to fly in the park, again, very good. And lots of people do modify these with a quick and dirty FPV setup, and it's brilliant. Sky Sword, again, if you're going to get a Sky Sword, I'd say get the smaller one on 6S for some speed. Lancaster, it is known to have some issues, but again, it's a cheaper option to the B17, which I know flies very well, and the C130. Voltager had one that had issues, supposedly they're now all fixed. Again, smallish 3D plane. One that isn't on here is the Avios H300. I don't think I saved it as a tab, but I have mentioned it again when it works. A good plane. Bixler 1.1, personally the best FPV model to get to begin with, or just to have as something to lark about with. Better than the other two versions in my opinion. I think the Bixler 1.1 is the best. It's better than a lot of the clones, because with the 1.1, as I say, they move the servos to the rear. Have they got a picture of that? Everything's so close to the rear of the few aircraft. There we are, yeah. That's fine. Avios this. Again, when you think about it, I don't think it's too bad of a price for it. It looks quite nice. Stall and stuff. Personally, rather have this than a Tundra. But I would also use this for FPV. So you got ailerons, elevators, rudders, motors, flaps, and cargo door. I think it also has reversible speed controllers. Massive flaps, blah blah blah. Skis are included in the box. That's interesting. Get floats separately to the skis. 2, 4, 5, 8, 9 grand, that makes sense. Elevator, rudder, 2 flap, 2 aileron, nose leg, cargo door, yeah, that's where they hit from. Okay, we have this Valantex, which I would love to get if I could. Is that kit or plug and fly that amount? Yeah, fantastic price for that. 94.9 inches, excellent. If you watch RC Explorer's video on this, it looks fantastic. This is just a smaller version of that. The kit for 68 quid I think is fantastic value. Again, which I guess you can get if you can't get the 2.4 meter, although you can't. Banggood I think do sell this. The only Tundra I would get, the Ultra Micro, just the Micro one I guess. It's all good. It does have this weird like Molex connectors and then you have to put servos on. I want to ask them how many people actually use Molex directly into the receiver. When they say no one, I want to say, well, why didn't you just put servos on it, you regular servo connectors, you massive pain in the arse fools. The Wargo MX2, again, same as the other MX2, just get whichever one's available. Like I'd buy this one because it's the one that's available. And the Durafly Excalibur. Hotliner, Warmliner, looks like a bit of a upgrade from NST Models Blaze, which I did have one of, until I did a rolling circle with it into a road. When I say road, it has about 5 cars in it a day before people start panicking and calling the CAA. But yeah, it's that is all the planes that I would buy on HobbyKing.com. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, helps me out a lot. Helps me out a lot. Remember to subscribe if you're new, that'll help me out a lot. And if you have any feedback or anything, leave it in the comments down below. But thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.